Hi there, Coleman Bites is at Camas Prairie Winery in Moscow, Idaho, North Idaho's oldest winery. I'm here with Stu Scott, owner of Camas Prairie Winery. He's going to show us the winery and how all this is done.
Inside the rooms are refrigerated tanks, and we use this to produce white wines or rosé wines, as a process called cold stabilizing is involved in taking the grape juice and getting out of the grape juice a naturally occurring substance, which is one of the natural ingredients in Alka-Seltzer, or it's what you folks might use to make a meringue. It's cream of tartar. Source of that's grape juice. But it comes out when wine is chilled. So the two tanks that we're going to chill down to 28 degrees, we're going to keep them enclosed so that the rest of the winery is not 28 degrees at the same time. So when we arrive back here, we take the grapes off the truck. If we're making one of the light colored wines, we extract the juice right away. On the other hand, if we're trying to get all of the color that's in the grapes, we'll pump the crushed grapes, must as it's called, off the truck and into cut barrels like this that I use for fermenting red wine. We've gotten grapes from the vineyard, crushed them, brought them back to the winery, and fermented the grape juice into wine. We've clarified the wine and put it in some type of a container. If it's a white wine or a rosé, it's going in some of the large stainless steel tanks, or maybe 55-gallon stainless steel drums that you'll see behind me, and it's aging. If it's a red wine, red wines are probably going into wooden barrels or special plastic wine cubes that are semi-permeable and give the same effects to wine as aging in barrels do. Once the wine is aged to my satisfaction as the winemaker, and this is where art and science kind of intersect, hopefully, then the wines will be filtered with, this is our filter machine. It's disassembled right now, but all of these parts, the different valves, just go in the ports. And what filtration allows us to do is, first of all, visually make the wine very, very clear, what the public expects. And secondly, if it happens that we're making a sweet wine, it allows us to quite literally filter yeast cells out of the wine so the wine can remain sweet and not explode, re-ferment, do something that you wouldn't want in the bottle. A number of things not only well, but special that no one else does. For instance, I'm the only winery in the state of Idaho that hand makes champagne in what the French would call méthode champenoise. Taking the base wine, mixing it in what's called the cuvée or the blend, and that happens right here in this tank. And at the top there you see a big industrial stirrer, because we're taking a base wine, we're adding a very precise amount of sugar, yeast nutrient, different elements that help the wine clarify in the bottle. Those are called secret sauce. And rebottling it in champagne bottles. Once the wine's in a champagne bottle, it actually gets capped with a beer cap. So next time you have champagne, look at the neck of the bottle. You'll see it's the same as a beer bottle. So once the wine is bottled in the champagne bottle and capped, it then goes into bins where we re-ferment it. And this room will be temperature controlled. We will have about 75 cases of champagne, and it will take 2 months for the secondary fermentation to take place in the bottle. So we're converting the sugar that we're adding right in the cuvée to a little extra alcohol and that nice, beautiful sparkle you see in champagne. So we would bring you into my 2 racks that have on display all of the wines that I make. I'd explain to you that the wines are arranged from dry wines on the left to very sweet wines on the right, and that the wines get progressively sweeter. I would let you look over all of my 20 choices, 5 types of handmade champagne and 15 types of table wines, wines without bubbles, and then let you decide what you'd like to taste. Once you've made up your mind, And if you come in with friends, you can each decide, and you don't have to try the same wines, but if you're a couple, sometimes that's good. It saves an argument at home. So once you've picked what you like, then we're going to take you over to the wine tasting bar over here and actually do some tasting.
Basically, when you're talking comparing food and wine, there's just one basic rule. You don't want your food or your wine to be stronger or heavier than, you know, the other things. So like if you have a really heavy food, you don't want to pair it with a really light, fruity wine. If you have a really light food, you don't want to pair it with a really heavy, overpowering wine. So like our most heavy-bodied wine would probably be like the Cabernet. You don't want to pair that with like a light salad or something, because all you'd be tasting is the Cabernet and not the salad.
So now we're back in the tasting room at Camas Prairie Winery on Main and Moscow. This concludes our brief visit. I hope that you've learned some things, and I hope I've inspired you to come down, see what we do, and more importantly, try what we make and find the best wine in the store. And what's that? The wine that you like the best.